Netflix's Avatar live action is and will be exceeding all of your expectations. Avatar: The Last Airbender is the greatest cartoon. No, wait. I'll say it. Avatar: The Last Airbender is the greatest TV show of all time. Even though its target demographic is 8 to 11-year-olds, it's time and time again shown to be relevant and almost life-changing to all ages. I myself have made over 100 videos talking about this series. Even its most complex themes such as the air nomad genocide and the battle between destiny and free will are just so beautifully explained that just about anyone can understand it. This show just hits extremely hard in so many different areas, so it's no wonder the majority of people are extremely worried about what Netflix is going to do with the show they grew up with and care so much about. With one of the largest budgets ever seen in a TV show, coming in at $130 million, an award-winning VFX team, and countless great actors, and a showrunner known for making good shows. And arguably the most important factor of all, everybody working on the series is a huge fan of the original and is committed to doing the original the justice it deserves. So it's safe to say at the very least that this show is in good hands. And I understand a lot of you still don't believe me, so if you will, just give me your time for the next however many minutes this video is, and let me explain to you why this show will exceed all of your expectations. But before we get into that, here is a quick word from today's sponsor. Thank you to Alien Clothing for sponsoring today's video. Alien is an indie streetwear company started in 2017 by YouTube creator Elvis the Alien. With the support and love from the YouTube community, it has grown beyond his wildest dreams. Elvis created Alien for people like him who love games, anime, movies, and anything science fiction. Impress your grandma by wearing a monster, android, or alien. Alien provides clothing you can't find anywhere else for people who wish to embrace the bold and strange. Alien's designs are very carefully created by some of the best artists from around the world. The items are printed, shipped, and handled with care from their team in Canada. You guys need to hurry up and get what you can because some items are never going to be restocked. But don't worry because Alien is constantly coming out with new and creative designs. Alien uses only the best quality fabrics on the market while still trying their best to keep every item affordable. And their items are sold by popular skate shop Zoomies in Canada and hope to expand more in the future. Save 20% off using code AVATARS, and any orders over $100 get free shipping. The link is in the description down below, and thank you so much to Alien Clothing for sponsoring today's video. Contrary to popular belief, live-action anime does and can in fact work, and has worked many times in the past. Despite everyone believing that Netflix has failed on every single live-action adaptation that they've attempted, it's actually not true. Of course, stuff like this exists, and that's just inexcusable, but there are gems out there, such as Alice in the Borderland, which of course was a manga, and then anime, and now a live-action TV series that is scoring higher than the anime counterpart. The reason why live-action anime is typically bad is because they are trying to condense this long, thought-out franchise into a 2-hour or less movie. For example, The Last Airbender live-action, Dragon Ball Evolution, Death Note, and many more. Avatar is not considered good because of its super intense story, or even an entirely original take on the Chosen One storyline. The reason Avatar is so good and so loved by so many people is because of the attention to detail that the creators and everybody working on the series gave it. The concept of 4 nations and each nation having an element is relatively simple, and has been done many times throughout fiction. What makes Avatar special is how it's done. Each nation not only has an element, but also a martial art attached to it. And yes, a real world martial art. So you guys can kind of see where I'm getting at here. Airbenders are evasive, and their fighting style is based on the martial art Bagwajang. Earthbenders are stiff and strong. Their martial art is Hungar Kung Fu. Waterbenders are fluid and go with the flow. Their martial art is based off of Tai Chi. Firebenders are swift, sharp, and have direct movements. Their martial art is based on the Northern Shaolin fighting style. The original creators got so deep into this that they even made a lot of the animators get a basic understanding on these martial arts in order to make their series better and have more accurate movements in the animation. Again, these martial arts are real, which means they have a direct translation into live action. These things can be learnt, these things can be taught. This is by far the hardest element of this series to capture. Lucky for them, almost everybody on their cast has been training martial arts since they were a baby, and they also have the best VFX team in the world working on their series. This VFX team has worked on Stranger Things, Top Gun Maverick, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and many, many more. The entire backbone of the show is already already covered. Already off the bat, they have fixed the 3 most major things that made the last live action fail, which is the martial arts / choreography, the runtime, which will be exactly the same as the animated series now, and the casting. Oh yeah, speaking of the casting, how is it? Personally, I really can't complain. If there was ever someone born to play live action Aang, it is this kid right here. Gordon Cormier is 13 years old as of now, but during filming, he was 12 years old, exactly the same age as Aang. But just look at this kid's smile. That is Aang. Great, so the kid looks like Aang, but what about his acting? Can he really capture the essence of what Aang truly is? He's voice acted quite well in some different roles, but besides that, in live action, he's been relatively quiet in the acting world. Literally, he's been quiet. He can't speak in some of his roles, he's deaf. But here's what Yvonne Chapman and Paul Sung-Young Lee had to say about him, respectively.
I would like to take a moment just to gush about the lead that they got, Gordon, who plays Aang. He's phenomenal.
Wow.
I mean, and he's really great, and I'm really excited for everybody. I'm excited for him.
To go out for dinner with Gordon Cormier and his dad Gord. That's right. Having dinner with the Avatar himself, and he's fantastic. You are all going to fall in love with this fine young man, this actor. He's #1 on the set.
The kid is really active. He's always doing all sorts of flips. He skateboards often. He seems to be a quick learner, and since he's so young, it's gonna be no problem for him to pick up the martial art aspect of things. So you guys know, kids learn very fast. Zuko is being played by Dallas Liu, who has been a longtime fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender and has expressed many times the pressure of playing someone from one of the most popular franchises of all time. With his extensive martial art background, being an ISKA world champion, he seems like the perfect guy for the job. He's acted in movies such as Shang-Chi and has a pretty big role in the show Pen 15. He seems to be pretty qualified for the job, and besides, he even sounds like Zuko a little bit. He's talked to the original voice actor of Zuko, who is Dante Bosco, and he was able to even get some tips from that guy, so I have high hopes. Katara is being played by Gowan Dio, who has actually acted in a main role before in the film called Beans. This film has won many awards. Even Gowan Dio herself has won an award for her performance. In my last video, I showed a picture of her from Instagram, where I guess, according to you guys, she was looking more mature, like she had makeup on. I don't know, you guys were saying she didn't look like Katara, and that's just kind of wrong. I'd say she has potential to look exactly like Katara, considering this photo right here. Sokka is being played by Ian Owsley. Now, me mentioning his controversy in my last video, it got a lot of you guys worked up. The response was oddly kind of even throughout 3 different things. There were people claiming to be native, calling his tribe fake, and were really upset about the whole situation. There were other people who were also claiming to be native, who said this is a way bigger issue than you're laying out here. There's no way he's lying. His tribe just isn't recognized. And then, of course, there is that third group of people who's always there, and they really didn't care about the situation. They were like, who cares? He looks just like Sokka. Regardless of anything, he is Sokka. Ian Owsley is Sokka, and that is not changing. So let me just talk about the good and why I think he's gonna be a good Sokka anyway. We can start off with the obvious. Yes, he does look like Sokka, and he does in fact have an extensive martial arts background. Sokka actually does learn countless martial arts throughout Avatar: The Last Airbender, so this is needed, contrary to popular belief. Ian is a Taekwondo specialist and an ATA world champion. He is a relatively unknown actor, only being in about 5 different shows for short periods of time, so there really isn't much to talk about there. But what I can say is that this man, as a person, just really matches that Sokka energy. Every video that I've seen of him, every live stream I've seen him in, I see him, he's always been getting along great with the rest of the cast, and he's always laughing, cracking jokes, and just has that Sokka energy. I don't really know how to describe it, but the way he kind of holds himself is very Sokka-esque. Of course, we have Paul Sun-Young Lee, who is one of the more experienced actors on this project. He's been in many different high-rated TV shows, one being The Mandalorian. This man is Iroh. The only thing he's missing is the firebending. He has the beard. He has the hair, or lack thereof. Daniel Dae Kim is playing the big bad Fire Lord Ozai. This is by far their craziest casting. Crazy as in, this guy must have been expensive. He has been involved in 90 different projects. He is an actor, producer, and director. One of his most notable roles was in Lost. He was also in many different movies, and he's even voiced characters in both Avatar and in The Legend of Korra. He was General Fong in Avatar, and he was Asami's dad in The Legend of Korra. Honestly, I could go on forever about how sick all of this casting is, but I think you guys get it at this point.
I do have Avatar coming out, I think hopefully next year. We'll see. Yeah, that's a really, really special project because I feel like it's like your Asian American Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings. Like, it's a big show, very big show. And so I'm honored to be a part of it, and it's so exciting to play such a fun character. Definitely turned in my Louboutins for some leather and weapons.
For those of you who don't know, that is Yvonne Chapman, and she is playing Kyoshi. But what she just said right there is the reason this show has such a massive budget. I don't think a lot of people understand how big Netflix is going on this one. If you think this is going to be a throwaway like their Death Note movie or that Cowboy Bebop series, you are highly mistaken. Netflix, let alone anyone, just doesn't throw around this kind of budget at a project that's going to flop. There are few shows in history with this kind of budget. Game of Thrones has the exact same budget, The Mandalorian had a similar budget, and there's only 2 shows ever that had a higher budget than Avatar, that being Rings of Power and Stranger Things. And if you're still not convinced Netflix is taking this seriously, here is what the head of Netflix US and Canada had to say about the Avatar live action. It's pretty special. Just as an IP, it's very special. Something like The Sandman, and we want to handle it with deft hands for fans, and also to bring new life to it in a way that both honors the original and celebrates its new iteration. It's a stunning spectacle. These shows are very big productions, and it takes a ton of time, both on the production side of things and in post. So you have to respect the long journey for some of these shows to deliver what hasn't been done on television before. And that's what we have for a lot of these types of shows when we are working on them. Whether it's Avatar, or One Piece, or Three Body Problem, these are big visual spectacles that you have to honor the process and respect that. When you're breaking ground in visual storytelling, or you're the visual vanguard of storytelling, that takes R&D. That takes a lot of trial and error to get right. But that's the intent. That's the hope, is that you're bringing eye candy matched with impeccable storytelling into these worlds. They first started working on the live action in 2018. It was originally scheduled to be done in 2020, but obviously we know what happened with that. The world kind of just shut down. It is now pretty much 2023, and the only reason why they probably haven't started marketing yet is because of James Cameron's Avatar. They need to make sure all of the hype from James Cameron's Avatar dies down, because marketing confusion is one of the #1 causes for a film or TV series to flop. Alright, hopefully if you made it this far, I changed your minds, or at the very least, gave you a little bit more hope for the Avatar live action. This will probably be my last Netflix video for the rest of the year, unless something huge happens, which I don't think it will. Thank you guys so much for watching and making it until the very end. Hopefully I see you guys with another video before Christmas time, but if not, I'll see you guys in the new year.